Happy Saturday, peeps. Welcome back to my channel. I'm just going to be rambling a little bit today, talking a little about intuition. But yeah, so pull up a chair, like the video if you would, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and we'll get started here in a minute. So today I am in an introspective mood. I've been thinking a lot lately about all sorts of things, about my career, about the direction I want it to take, about the books, about life. Just a lot. It's been a lot. And not a lot in a bad way. I turned 65 in January. And while that's okay, and I'm not like wigging out about it, it feels odd. It feels very odd. I'm a senior citizen and I don't feel like it. But then again, I suppose a lot of people don't. And all designations are arbitrary to a point. And so, yeah, it's so weird to be here. It feels like I've lived several lifetimes in my current lifetime. It's like there have been so many distinct phases to my life that sometimes it really does feel when I look back and I think that felt like another life. That felt like a different time period, a different era. Can you see Ellie over there? She's trying to grab Kiersey's tail. Kiersey's up in my inbox, and Ellie was trying to grab her tail. Oh, they are such joys. So, yeah, my mind has been very, very busy. And I've been writing the Lit RPG, and I'm having so much fun with it. You can find that on my Patreon. The first 6 chapters are free to read. And there will be other ways to read it besides my Patreon. I will be gathering the chapters together and putting them out as a serial on Amazon as we go along for a nominal cost. And then eventually I'll gather them into a book. Feathered Web will be coming out in print soon. I finally remembered to get the print cover, and I'm waiting on that from my cover artist. And other than that, I'm working on shadow running, and I plan on putting a big push on it because I feel like I'm ready to just push through and finish the book and dive deep into it. And when I say that, I mean just immerse myself in it. I love Cayenne. I love Cayenne and her world. And in this book, in Shadow Running, something major happens in her life that she never expected to happen. And I will leave it at that with no other spoilers. But it surprised me too. And I'm curious to see how it turns out. I wondered sometimes, why do I write so much about ghosts and so much about spooky stuff? That's been a part of my life ever since I was a little girl. Given I work with magic, given I have always been psychic to a degree, and I've always sensed other presences around. And to me, it's just as much a part of life as breathing. Just like writing. Writing is as much a part of my life as breathing. And writing the Lit RPG makes me enjoy writing the Shadowblade series even more. And I'm not sure why, but they sort of play off of each other. One is a bit lighter, so far at least, the Lit RPG, and much more, this is a game. But it frees me up somehow. I don't know how to explain that. My intuition is just saying, this is a good thing to do. You need this as a writer, and your readers will enjoy it, at least the readers that it's meant for. And do it. Just do it. So I'm doing it. I've also had a lot of questions about my videos on intuition and how to trust yourself. And, you know, I use these to rest my elbows and wrists on. Trusting your intuition isn't easy at first. If you don't already trust it, it takes a while to build that trust. It takes time. And I can't give you any set guarantees. But what I can say is, if you start small and trust your intuition on the small things first, then you can build it up. It's like writing. When I first started writing, I wrote short things. I wrote short stories. Of course, I was a little kid too, but I wrote short stories. I wrote articles for a newspaper that my best friend and I put together when we were in grade school. And I wrote poetry. I wrote a lot of poetry from the time I was around 8 or 9 through my 20s. I have a stack of poetry about that thick. And I am planning on putting out a book of poetry in the next year or so, because it's something I've always wanted to do. It's been on my bucket list. I don't expect it to make a lot of money, and that's okay. It's for me. It's me taking something I've loved since I was a child and putting it out there and seeing it, there in print, so to speak. And so all I have to do is just gather together the poems. As I said, I have hundreds of poems. Most of them are in a file folder and need to be typed in to a computer. But yeah, I've written poetry for years. And poetry is actually one of the hardest forms to write in. The fewer words you have, the harder it is to get them correct, because every single word counts. In a poem, every word, every syllable counts. In a short story, every sentence counts. In a novella, every paragraph counts. And in a chapter or a novel, every chapter counts. It gets a little easier. You have a little more wiggle room to make a mistake here or there, or to not quite be as precise as you would like to. And sometimes that's going to happen. Nobody's perfect. Perfection does not exist. If you are striving to be perfect in your writing, you will kill it, because you will put so much stress on yourself, and it will never exceed. It will never meet what you hope it would. My books are good. Some of them I consider great. They are not perfect. They never will be. And that's got to be okay for me. I always have felt that if something was to become perfect, it would stagnate. Perfection to me equals stagnation, because there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to challenge yourself after that. And I always think there's room for improvement in health, in writing, in life. There's always room for it to be a little bit better. But that doesn't mean it's bad. And that doesn't mean it isn't good enough to present to others. Perfection is a habit that I think all aspiring writers need to get rid of. And you have to let it go at some point. Because what is writing if it's not communication? And if you don't let go of your books, if you don't let somebody else read your writing eventually, then you're not communicating to the best degree. And I say that with one caveat. If you only want to write in a journal for yourself, if you are only writing to give yourself therapy, to give yourself an outlet, but you don't really want anybody else to see it, that's okay too. That is fine. But if you want others to read your writing, if you want readers, at some point you have to say, I'm done. It is good. It is good enough to present, and let it go. Because if you don't, you'll never be done, and you'll never be happy with it. Happiness, I guess this is the theme of what I'm talking about today. I've talked myself around and around it and landed on it. Perfection is not necessary for happiness. You don't have to have the perfect day, the perfect wedding, the perfect party, the perfect dinner, the perfect date. Perfection is overrated. And when you get to that point where you are scrambling to make every single event, every single piece of the puzzle perfect, then you lose sight of the puzzle as a whole and you start focusing on minutia, and you get bogged down and you get sucked in to a never ending stream of revision for writing, or let's try it this way, let's try it that way. You never have a finished product. You're always trying to finish it because it's never good enough. I had to learn as a kid, and I didn't learn actually. I grew up with a lot of baggage, obviously. I've talked about that before. But no matter what I did and how well I did it, it was never good enough. It was never good enough for my mom, for my stepdad. There was always something else that I could have done to make it better. And I grew up as an overachiever. I grew up constantly berating myself because things weren't perfect. Things weren't perfect. And I learned the hard way that nothing ever will be perfect. And that was okay. It's okay that you are not perfect. It's okay that you have flaws. It's okay to sit there and say, you know, it's good enough. I'm done. I'm done with it. It is good enough. It does what I want it to do. And it sounds good in the process, or it tastes good in the process. And when you finally are able to do that, you can make progress. You can make a lot of progress at that point. So, let things be okay. Let things be not mediocre, but let things just be good. And if they turn out great, so much the better. And if they're good enough to make someone happy, you've done your job. You don't try for standards that no one can achieve, because nobody is perfect. Nobody ever will be perfect. And what seems like the perfect life is still going to have problems. So I guess that was my message today. Just learn that good is enough. It's okay. It's fine. It is probably wonderful. Good can be wonderful. And so can great. And mediocre some days may be your best. Some days it may be the best you can do. And in that case, it is absolutely accessed. In that case, it is absolutely acceptable. I think that's going to be my message for today. Learn that sometimes enough is enough. And yeah. So yeah, I'm working on shadow running. Jump over to my Patreon and read the first chapters of my Lit RPG project and see if you'd like to continue. I'm doing a subscribe drive for my channel. You know, if you know someone who you think would like my channel, please tell them about it and spread the word. And, oh, let's see. Anything else? Not right now. I think that's going to be good enough for this video. See you later. Take care and bye-bye.